My degens, version 1.5. These devs, they're freaking based as heck, man. But before I go any further, let me quickly throw the code at you, because by the time you see this video, you'll probably have less than a day to redeem it. Astronomical, super easy. But anyway, version 1.5, oh my lord, it is just way too stacked. I'm not going to try go through it one by one, but I think that this might be my favorite patch yet. And let me explain why. And so the biggest thing for me is that if you actually look at the patch holistically, what you're going to notice is that the majority of this patch is actually not centered around combat, but around essentially creating like a living world and adding a whole bunch of different activities, right? Like even from last patch, where they gave us the ability to like hang out with our agents, this patch, we've got like new arcade games at Godfinger, in which one of the games, like that really fun, the bullet one, that one is actually getting multiplayer, so we can actually play with friends. Like, oh my lord, that's so awesome. And then in terms of Bangboos, we've got this like Bangboo Nikki game. We dress them up, we do this dance kind of thing, as well as actual Fall Guys. They freaking built Fall Guys into Zenless. It's freaking nuts. We've also got an actual interactive fishing event versus like so much fishing these days is kind of like throw the rope and time at the right time and then you pick it back up. We've actually got something where you might have to actually work for it. And then we've got taking money shots during combat. This is more about the photography than the combat itself. 2048 with Zhu Yuan. This was a really popular game when I was back in high school. And most importantly, skins. Holy heck, Star Rail actually could never. I am a massive skin whore. I am a massive fashion gamer. I don't wail on Mindscapes, I don't wail on weapons or whatever, but I will, pull out my wallet a little bit for some pretty good skins, and I'm gonna get all of these. So we've got skins for Astra, Ellen, and Nicole, and it's looking like Nicole's one is free, which is freaking awesome. But my guess for the paid ones, I'm guessing that Astra and Ellen are both paid. I reckon it's going to be around 1200 to 1600 of the premium currency, the paid currency. That's just a guess based on what they do charge from Genshin, but wow. We actually got there before Star Rail. But yeah, in summary, this patch is just so freaking based. Like, I love that the focus is not on the combat, but rather on all of these different activities, right? It just really makes the world feel alive. I'm not sure, and I might be low-key afraid that I might be in the minority for this. Like for me, it's looking kind of like a 40% combat-related updates to 60% other activity updates kind of split. Like, I personally wouldn't be mad if this was the structure for all future updates. I'm actually really interested in what you guys think. Like, do you guys play the game because you like the combat? Because of sheer defense? Do you guys like to get a little sweaty? Or do you play these games because of these like small immersive kind of activities? You want to just kind of get lost in a world? I'm definitely in the latter group, but I'm super curious as to what you guys are into. I want to know if I'm in the minority or the majority. But on top of that, what actually makes all of this so awesome for me is the fact that Zenless is not fully open world. Now, don't get me wrong, my guys, I actually really like open world games, but I think I've got open world fatigue when it comes to gacha games. And when it's not open world, we can kind of just focus on the activities themselves and have fun. It just feels like a smaller kind of commitment, right? My guys, I don't know, this update is actually just incredibly exciting. I get pretty fatigued from the constant Shiyu and Deadly Assault and Hollow Zero and tower climbing, even though it's not actually that much. I think I'm just a freaking filthy casual. That's probably why I just love this update so much. But anyway, all of that aside, we do have two new characters coming in, Astra and Eve, who have absolutely killer designs, by the way. And to be honest, I really like them both. But Eve's coat and Eve's design, that bodyguard feel, oh my god. Ooh. But starting off with Astra, she's looking like our first limited support. And I am probably everyone that's kind of like following meta has really high hopes for her. Like, I'm sure everyone who plays the game by now already understands how impactful Nicole, Lucy, Sokaku, even Caesar and Seth are, right? We're finally going to get a taste of our first limited S-rank support. From what I can tell, it's looking like she's going to be predominantly an offensive support, giving attack, so it's looking like a Lucy upgrade, which is super universal. It's really good because it means that she can work for both anomaly and attack characters. Also, she's got a really interesting mechanic where she's able to convert quick assists to chain attacks, and this is actually really massive because for some characters, chain attacks actually have a bigger impact for them than others, right? For example, Zhu Yuan gets 1 charge from quick assist, but 3 charges from chain attack. And then we've got Jane. She gets a full refresh in the red mode, in which she applies Anomaly faster when she gets into a chain attack. So this mechanic is actually really interesting. It's really exciting to see them try something else rather than just like more crit rate, more crit damage, whatever. I did see that she restores HP. I'm actually relatively lukewarm about it. I don't feel like it's going to be that impactful, but maybe it's because I have Caesar. And for the people who don't have Caesar, who are climbing the tower in which like they 2-hit you, maybe this is actually a bigger deal than, you know, somebody who does have Caesar. All right, and so after that, we've got Eve. To be honest, her kit itself looks pretty standard to me for an attacker, right? Do a few things, attack, get crit rate, do crit damage, do big direct damage. It's kind of feeling like she's just going to be like a better Soldier 11, which is awesome, right? But what it does mean is that if you do have Soldier 11, you don't have to feel pressured to pull her, in my opinion anyway. On top of that, I would probably go as far as to say that if you have Bernice, you could hypothetically skip Eve as well. Now, it's really cool that we are starting to get all of these options, right? You got fire DPSs, so you have 3 options. You can select the Soldier 11 if you wish. All of that being said though, what is really incredible about Eve are her animations. It's actually freaking ridiculous. Like her theme of using threads and fighting with threads and all of that is just so freaking cool. And not just Eve, right? Like the production value in both Astra and Eve, in the animations, the smoothness, like it's always been there, but I personally feel like it's just like every single time it's leveling up. It's freaking immaculate. And then lastly, I want to talk about our reruns. We finally are getting reruns in the form of Ellen and Qingyi, which is really interesting because Julian was actually second, but that's fine. Like Julian will probably come like the patch after, whatever, doesn't matter. And so in regards to these two, I still think that Qingyi is a fantastic long-term pick for a stunner. She is generic, she is impactful on every single team, only needs an attacker to activate her passives. And if I still have gems after going for Astra and Eve, then I'll probably be going for Qingyi as well. Or maybe depending on 1.6, I don't know, we'll see. Ellen though, Ellen is still my number 1, right? Ellen is still my number 1, where Bella is actually my number 0. But unfortunately, from like a meta gameplay point of view, it's really hard to recommend Ellen, especially because most of you, if not all of you, are actually gonna have Miyabi already. That being said though, most enemies in the game are actually ice weak, and even in Deadly Assault, it's asking for 2 ice teams, right? So it's not exactly the worst idea to pull for Ellen, even if you have Miyabi, especially if you do like her. But yeah, if we're talking like account progression, if we're talking kind of like gameplay, like the most optimal decisions, Ellen is looking like probably towards the bottom of the list. That being said though, I am absolutely opening my wallet for her freaking skin. That is going to bring us to the end of the video. As you can tell, I am so freaking keen to see 1.5 to actually get into it. I do want to play all of these little mini games. I'm a massive fan of them. But again, I'm also really interested in what you guys think about this not very combat oriented patch. Do you like it or do you not? Let us know down in the comments below, but otherwise, this is going to be the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.